So why are we here? Well, we're here because here, like everywhere else in the world, languages are disappearing, they're dying before our very eyes, and if we don't document them before they die, they'll be lost forever. The field station in Padang is a branch of the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology field station in Jakarta in Indonesia. We're based in Padang on the west coast of the island of Sumatra, and we study the local languages, primarily those belonging to the Malay subgroup. We have projects on Minangkabau, Kerinci, Bersama, Tapan, and various other languages. Hi, in 2005, we organized the biennial meeting of the Association of Linguistic Typology, ALT, here in Padang. And as a result of that, we established contacts with Bung Hatta University. And as a result of that, a year after the ALT meeting, which was here in Padang in 2005, we opened the field station here in Padang. We began with 2 or 3 assistants, and it's been growing ever since.
In the Padang field station, we have a number of assistants who are native speakers of various languages, so Minangkabau, Kerinci, other Malay varieties in the region, and they record naturalistic texts, so they'll record traditional stories or conversations in their own native varieties.
Okay, my name is Santi Kurniati. I'm start working in Padang Field Station from 2006. It's the beginner of Padang Field Station here. I'm doing Minang language. I'm taking data about Minang language, and also some in area of Sumatra, like West Sumatra, Riau, South Sumatra, and also Jambi, Kerinci.
Nama saya Yesi Prima Putri, kerja sama Santi sama dengan Santi mulainya 96.
Wes, 2006.
2006, salah. Setelah itu sama kerja sama Santi bahasa Minang.
Oke, nama saya Pak Rahman, berasal dari Kerinci, khusus untuk penelitian dialek Sungai Penuh dan Rawak, yaitu daerah Kerinci itu sendiri. Bekerja di Max Planck dari tahun 2007 sampai sekarang, dan mendapatkan istri juga di Max Planck, yaitu Santi Kurniati.
Perkenalkan, nama saya Rijaya Mega. Saya berasal dari Tapan, yaitu Pesisir Selatan. Saya dulunya kuliah di sini, di Bung Hatta, jurusan Sastra Indonesia. Oh ya, kerjanya juga sama seperti KSI. Oh ya, dari tahun 2012.
Perkenalkan, nama saya Elian Sertifika, berasal dari Kerinci, Jambi.
Daerah kecilnya?
Daerah kecilnya di Pulau Tengah. Mulai kerja pada diajak sama Bang Fernul sejak tahun 2013 bulan 9 atau 10. Terima kasih.
Perkenalkan, nama saya Fitri, berasal dari Pasaman Timur, nama daerahnya Tapan. Saya seorang mahasiswa dan sekarang sudah semester 6 jurusan Sastra Indonesia, senior dari KIJ dan Puisi.
So they're basically doing all the hard work. They're supervised and coordinated by our office in Jakarta. So our office in Jakarta provides technical assistance. If one of the machines breaks down, when the computer breaks down, they take care of administration and other such matters. And then there are the scientists who work here. So myself, Tim McKinnon is also heavily involved in the work that takes place here, and various other scientists who have come and gone.
We are here just like family. Even with Padang or the supervisor, the other supervisor like Tim or someone else, it's like a family. So we don't feel that there is any gap between us. So it's very nice working here, and it's very interesting to study languages, because in Sumatra we have many variations of language, dialects, we have a lot.
Well, there are several Austronesian languages in Sumatra, but the main language that covers the largest area of Sumatra is Malay. But it's actually not a language, it's a group of languages. Oftentimes within a few kilometers, two varieties of Malay or Malayic aren't mutually comprehensible, so people can't readily understand each other. There's a very large amount of variation, and so Sumatra is actually a great laboratory to study microvariation in language, a great place to look at the different ways in which language change takes place, different pathways of language change, and it's also a great place to look at the history of people and their movement through language. But all of these languages are endangered in the sense that Malay Indonesian actually, because in Indonesia the standard variety is a Malayic language also, and it represents sort of an acrolectal variety in all of these regions. It exerts pressure on the local Malay varieties, so change and endangerment occurs as a result of this higher prestige variety, which is very prevalent in TV and the educational system and so forth. So yeah, these languages, although there's a ton of diversity here, there's plenty of interesting things to research for a linguist. A lot of the sort of characteristic local properties of Malay are disappearing as a result of pressure from the acrolectal varieties of Malay that are spoken in the region, such as Standard Indonesian, Jakarta Indonesian, or Jakarta Malay, and also Minangkabau, trade languages like Minangkabau, which is the variety that happens to be spoken in this province.
Primarily, we do linguistic documentation using two different methods. One method is that of collecting naturalistic corpora. So we go out into the field, well, to people's houses or marketplaces or just about anywhere, and we switch the microphones on and the video cameras on, and we record people speaking. So one of the things we did just today, we went to a fishing village right behind here, and what we're interested in studying is in a certain very specific feature of the pronunciation, of the way the sound system interacts with the graphical structure.
Mama caria di Tanjung Seni tuanai, badarai kasiak di Muaron. sadangnya kare galombang kini tuanai di tepi bidua samantara.
And we take our recordings, we bring them back to the office here, and we transcribe what we've recorded. So we get examples of language used in naturalistic contexts, coded and entered into a database, which can then be accessed by us and by anybody else who wants to use the data.
Jadi di sini Yesi mengerjakan percakapan dengan Lydia beberapa hari yang lalu tentang resepsi perhelatan di kampung Lydia di Tapan. Ini dia bercerita jadi ada semacam tradisi namanya rabab, pertunjukan musik. Jadi di sini ini speaker 2, yang ini speaker 1 Lydia, speaker 2 Yesi. Jadi ini Yesi yang bicara. Ditaruh di bawah.
That's our first method. Our second method is collecting lexical databases or word lists. What we do is we have two lists, both developed together with our colleagues back in Leipzig. One is a 40-item list, so we can go from village to village and just get out of the car and fill in a form containing 40 words and find out what they are in this village, in that village, in the next village, and so on. Or we can do a more detailed list of some 1,500 words, which contains additional information about the words and the structure and the histories. So we do that for selected languages because it's much more labor intensive.
Lapar, karapang, kedua, karaya,
Karapang tadi bisa jadi karaping.
oh karaping.
Basically, what we end up with, our end product, is naturalistic conversations, speech, and also word lists of various dialects. Those are our two main activities. We also do various other things. We occasionally do psycholinguistic experiments. When other linguists come here, we often engage in elicitation. And basically, we're a resource which is available to other linguists who want to make use of it. So if somebody has a project on whatever and they want to compare languages in Indonesia with languages that they've worked on in other countries, we're available and we help them and collaborate with them in their various projects.
I'm doing some work on phonological and phonetic variation in Malay. David and I are doing a project currently on phrasal phonology in Malay, so there's a variety of alternations that you can find across the region that are sensitive to phonological structure on the phrasal level. And David and I are developing a typology of these very interesting phonological alternations, and they tell us not only stuff about the phonology of the language, but also about the syntactic structure of the language.
Now, why should we be interested in that? Well, for its own sake, of course, we're interested in documenting grammatical systems, but in addition, the answers we get from that investigation can tell us a lot about the overall structure of the language in terms of whether it really is as simple as it seems to be, or whether there are hidden aspects of complexity which we might not have noticed so far. And that in turn will tell us about language in general, about how simple or how complex a language can be in order to function in modern society, which in turn will tell us a lot about how language evolved. So these are some of the questions that where we are now on the beach in Padang leads us to.